I surf it. I mean, I pee in like my wetsuit or board shorts. What's up, everyone? My name is Monstur, and thanks for checking out my channel. So today, something popped up on my feed, and I said, holy crap, that's something I probably need to nerd out to, and it's called Testing If Sharks Can Smell a Drop of Blood by Mark Robber. Now, if you're just visiting my channel, and this is the first time you've landed on my channel, then you probably don't know, but I am absolutely obsessed with sharks. Ever since I was a very young kid, I've been in love with sharks. I mean, I was a child when my mom first started reading me my first shark books, and I started falling in love with the shark animal, and I bought every book I could find about sharks, and when I got a little older, in middle school, I read every scientific novel about sharks, and for a long time, I wanted to be a marine biologist. Then my parents talked me out of it, and now I'm a marketing major, so, you know, life happens. But anyway, I saw this video, and I wanted to see what it was about. Now, a big reason I'm doing this reaction, and I know all my subscribers are probably like, but Monstur, you only do animation reactions or meme reactions. I know, I get that. But you have to understand, this week is Shark Week, and I love sharks. And so anytime there's a shark video, I want to nerd out to it. And I said, you know, what's a better chance to nerd out than with my subscribers? So if you're subscribed, thanks for being subscribed. If you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you're on your way to a happy beginning. Anyway, so I'm not a marine biologist, nor am I a shark scientist, nor am I a shark. But in this video, I'll probably be trying to drop some facts about sharks. Of course, don't take any of these facts literally. It's been a while since I've last read my what in the world am I trying to say? It's been a while since I've read a shark book, so probably some of my information is inaccurate, but I've tried to stay up to date as much as possible. I'm not going to share anything too scientific, but maybe give you some insight on the sharks and how beautiful they are and why we need them so badly. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. And yeah, I'm dedicated to this video. I'm even wearing my shark shirt. Check it out. It's got little pink sharks on it. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, I am ready for this video, and I am absolutely in love with sharks, so I don't know what's stopping me. One thing real quick, before we dive into it, I'm probably down below in the description, I'm going to make sure I find some websites that you can go and donate some money to help save sharks. Now, if you don't know, sharks are, largely being fished for and eaten in some countries. And so I'm going to find some links down below that you can go and check out and read more about it. And if you guys want to donate, then go ahead and donate. But anyway, let's dive into this and let's get started.
I texted this clip to my wife, who wanted proof I wasn't doing anything stupid on a recent trip to the Bahamas. Now, if you're wondering what my feet are doing in shark-infested waters with a bucket of blood 20 miles away from any land, well, that comes down to a conversation I had with my friends at the Discovery Channel 6 months ago. They told me Shark Week is coming up, and they want to know what I would do if they could put me in the middle of the ocean on a boat surrounded by sharks. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to test if sharks can really smell a drop of blood in the water from a mile away.
Okay, so if you didn't know, sharks are supposed to, this is like all scientific, it's more urban legend than anything, but it's supposed to be able to smell blood from like a mile away, or be able to smell blood in like a single drop of blood in an Olympic-sized pool. That's what I used to read. But, in this video we might prove it differently, so let's keep watching.
Now, before you say Mythbusters already did this,
yeah, they did.
Kind of did this. As you can see, to test this, they poked their fingers and then stuck them in a barrel with these tiny lemon sharks, and since they didn't really seem to turn around and look at their fingers, they said it was busted. Now, I'm friends with both Carrie and Adam, but I think even they would admit, at least in this case, the methodology was less than scientifically rigorous. So I came up with a more robust test procedure, built some NASA-grade hardware for the experiment,
he's really good
hopped
at
on a
that.
plane, and then a speedboat,
love
and
this
soon
guy.
enough,
He's
I was
so
20
scientific.
miles offshore of the Bahamas.
Dude, there's shark.
That's so freaking awesome. I want to be in that situation so bad.
Shark, like in the wild.
I actually saw one. So actually, my experience with sharks is I saw some sharks off a dock in Virginia Beach, my hometown beach, my state beach, whatever. But I saw some sharks off the dock, like a whole bunch of them, like maybe 6 or 7 of them, and there were people swimming, 5 feet away from these sharks that were just swimming in between these people. It was crazy. They were giant sharks too. They weren't like tiny little sharks. They were probably, we were up high, and they looked at least 5-6 feet long. So we were guessing probably some sand sharks and bull sharks, and it was crazy to watch. And like that moment, like I knew I loved sharks. I was young at that point, but I knew I loved sharks already, and that point like solidified it in my head. So this week's really big for me. But anyway, let's keep going and see what happens.
To kick things off, I sat down with my marine biologist, shark diving expert friend, Luke Tipple, and explained my plan to him. And eventually I planned to test just how far they could smell a single drop of blood in the water. But first, I wanted proof that they actually preferred blood over any other scent. So for my first experiment, I planned to put 4 surfboards in the water equidistant from the back of the boat. Each board would host 2 liters of a different liquid that we would pump into the ocean over the course of an hour. Then using a 3-meter radius around each board as a gauge, we would use drone footage and count how many sharks went over to check out each board. So this board would be fish oil, which I heard was a general attractant for lots of fish. Then we would have cow's blood here, then seawater here as a control to make sure the sharks weren't just interested in the surfboard. And then finally urine.
I've heard from surfers that a lot of them won't pee in their wetsuits because they feel like it's going to attract a shark.
I sometimes do.
Wife who doesn't pee in their wetsuit. But yes, it's definitely something that I've heard a lot.
It's going to liberate surfers everywhere.
I surf. I mean, I pee in like my wetsuit.
And so after a bit more discussion, Luke was on board for the first of our 2 experiments.
Well, as a firm believer in the scientific method, we'll test it out.
And then you dive.
Well, depending on the results, I dive. The deal's off.
And so with that, we started putting the 4 boards together.
Ooh, that's a good song. I like the surfboard. They're like soft tops, but you know.
From the crew.
All right, so now it's time to fill these bags. What do you want to do first, pee or blood?
Yeah, you. Let's do pee.
Okay.
Let's do rock, paper, scissors for who holds the bucket and who holds the bag.
Wait, I got it strategized. Okay, I know what it is. Ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yeah! Damn it.
Oh, that smells so bad.
Ugh.
It's urine.
Ugh.
Whoever it is, they need to hydrate.
That's
too.
gross.
This is going to be a nightmare. Your pouring sucks. Okay.
Oh, I feel like the sharks could smell it from right there. Like, oh, that is gross.
All in the name of science.
It's a great time of day to be doing this because we have a lot of sharks. Looking down here, we got 3 or 4 lemons on the surface. I can actually see 2 tigers down
Yeah, it's
the
a
bottom.
lemon.
That's
And is
actually
that
a massive tiger
that
shark
is
down there.
Huge.
they're gonna show it?
Right,
Show the lemons, but I don't see the
pouring
tiger.
than I did.
I love tiger
Oh my
sharks.
gosh.
Bull sharks are my favorite though.
Oh wow. There's a feeding.
Uh-oh, she's coming up.
It's fine.
What do you mean? Don't move it. I almost lost my hand.
I did not. It's not going to jump out of the water.
Okay, so you've got seawater.
It's not a great white, yeah. So in case you didn't know, but there's only, makos can jump out of the water and great whites can jump out of the water. And great whites have only been documented to jump out of the water in South Africa, which is crazy because like there's great whites up in Massachusetts and they come down south, Virginia, North Carolina over the winter. And, there's great whites over in Australia, but none of those jump except the ones in South Africa. And so I I read some books about it, and, they can't really figure out why they jump in South Africa. Probably because the prey is different. It's a lot more agile prey, and so they need to jump. But, but makos also jump, and makos are amazing sharks as well. But anyway, let's keep going.
Fish oil.
Have urine and cow's blood.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So while Luke is bravely swimming the 4 surfboards out and anchoring them in place in preparation for the 1-hour countdown, now is a perfect time to explain the cool tech on each board I designed and built from scratch with my buddy Sean Hodgins. For this experiment to be robust, all 4 boards need to start pumping at the exact same time after Luke has them in place. That means we need to somehow start the pumps using a radio signal from the boat. So each surfboard has a waterproof receiver box like this that also hosts the battery, a custom printed circuit board, and 2 Arduinos. Then I have the remote control, and as soon as I hit this button, they all start pumping at the same time. We know each pump is working because the corresponding yellow light is lit up. That's important because they're too far away from the boat to see if they're functioning properly. To pump the blood and pee, we're using a peristaltic pump. This is a perfect choice because it's a totally sterile way to get the blood from the bag to the ocean since the blood never touches any sort of valve or something. It just has these rollers that sort of pinch and push the blood through the tubing in a manner that just happens to be similar to a severed artery. And so with the boards in place, it was go time.
Dang, that is way above my pay grade.
Commence. 3.
Here we go.
2, 1. Beep. All 4 are going. We have confirmation.
All right, so they're all spewing.
Everything is rolling. the experiment is underway. We'll let them go for an hour, just dripping stuff out. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Oh, he's down there with the sharks. He's down with the tiger and the lemons.
And after 10 minutes, I was really surprised there wasn't a lot of action on any of the boards.
So far it's pretty interesting. I mean, we've shown if you have a massive cut and you're bleeding out, and there's this many sharks within like 50 yards of you, that they're kind of like, meh. So like already that's an interesting finding, right? You'd think a little bit of blood and there'd just be a massive swarm, but that's not the case so far.
And to be clear, we weren't dealing with small quantities here. The human body contains 5 liters of blood, and after you lose 2 liters, which is the exact amount we're putting in the water, then you die.
Yeah.
About 20 minutes in, things were still pretty quiet, especially at the fish oil, urine.
Okay, so right now there's testing with lemon sharks and tiger sharks, and you know, we like to think that all sharks are the same, but in life, all sharks aren't the same. So I wonder if they change it up with the types of sharks they were testing with, because right now they're just lemon and tiger. They tested with, like, you know, bull shark, great white, mako shark, or sand tiger shark, something like that. Would these results be different? And that's my biggest question. And maybe they do that. We're only about 6 minutes into a 15-minute video, so maybe they do test with other sharks and they find that that doesn't happen. But it'd be interesting to see if they did, and what those sharks, how those sharks reacted to blood or urine or whatever. But anyway, let's keep going and see what they do.
Urine and control boards. But then the blood board started attracting some smaller fish, and soon after, 1 or 2 sharks started taking notice.
Not a lot of love for my pee.
Interesting.
I don't know why I find that kind of offensive, but I'm just a little hurt.
Eventually, with about 15 minutes left, things started getting pretty wild over by the blood board.
Look at that.
The blood was spread out and made almost like a blood runway. So you have this surreal line of sharks swimming up this enticing blood trail, one after another, only to be super disappointed to find a big piece of styrofoam.
Interesting. Okay, so the sharks are starting to get attracted to him a little.
We're almost done.
Took a little while.
2, 1. The motors have stopped. Our experiment is done.
Wow.
I'd just like to point out the bags have been sucked dry. So the engineering part of this experiment works flawlessly.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good engineering. I like
Are
that.
you serious?
Yeah.
Very smart guy. Holy cow.
And so now it's time to go in and review the footage and get a final tally for each board. And what we found was that 4 sharks went to check out the fish oil.
Okay.
Then 0 sharks went to check out both the control and the urine.
So you can pee in the water.
The blood board had a direct visit from a whopping 41 sharks.
Holy cow.
And so now that we debunked some surfing myths about urine,
Yeah, so you
and
can pee in the
proved that
water,
sharks
so
certainly
feel good,
had a strong
surfers.
preference for blood over anything we tested. The real question was just how much blood is interesting to them. And there was one part of the experimental design that was really nagging at me.
Because that was cow's blood, right?
That was cow's blood.
Yeah, he didn't test with human
I want to
blood.
try human blood.
But like,
We've got at least 10 living, breathing blood bags around here.
It's worth noting, not everyone was as stoked as Luke and I about this idea.
Yeah, and then just draw it. We'll just have fresh blood, just mainline it.
guy in the background shaking his head. Nah, not me.
Moon Dog, what do you reckon? Don't look at me.
So Luke made some calls, and soon enough, we had an amazing, certified Bahamian phlebotomist on board.
I'm like, oh, I'm totally cool as I like pop the ball.
Ugh, Dad, I don't like
And
that.
after some generosity from the camera crew and even Captain Scotty, we had 4 bulging bags of human blood for our
Captain
second
Scotty's just like, man, am I getting paid extra for this?
See if sharks have a taste for it. And if they do, I probably won't go freediving with them.
Okay, so one thing is they're testing with human blood, and that's like awesome to test with because you know that obviously we want to see if they're attracted to us. But some books I've read, now this is all based off books I've read, is that like sharks like, or at least great white sharks, like fattier foods, and so like seals or seals or sea lions. You know, things that give them more fat so that they can, you know, survive in colder waters. So it'd be interesting to see, like, if great whites would be attracted to human blood because we're not considered a fatty animal. We're a very lean animal. So anyway, but that's very interesting that they're testing with human blood. I think that's a really good way to test. Anyway, let's keep going.
For the second experiment, we had 3 boards. Again, we placed the control in the middle. The board over here would pump the human blood slowly at 1 drop a minute, and then on the other side, this board would pump the blood fast, on average 1 drop every 4 seconds. We were able to do that because another cool feature for the boxes we built was that by turning this knob, you can control the flow rate. So over time, they can pump out different amounts. And because sometimes we all have to step up and just do our part, while Luke once again risked his life by placing the 3 boards, I prepared to push a button.
He's like, I'm taking the safe way.
2, 1, commence! All right, all of them are pumping and good to go. Now the clock's just ticking.
Man.
We have like 55 more minutes to go. We'll see if the sharks notice it. 1 drop of human blood every 4 seconds may sound like a lot, and it certainly is. But it's also important to note that's 40 times less than the first experiment where we saw so much activity. In this case, halfway into experiment number 2, even though there were tons of sharks still in the area, the boards themselves were pretty quiet.
That's good.
We'll have to see when we look at the footage afterwards.
I'm not trying to die.
Far, it looks like the answer's no.
I'm trying not to die.
5, 4, 3, 2.
So they weren't attracted to human blood, or were they?
Experiment's over.
And so after the full hour, we brought in the boards and once again reviewed the footage to see that over the course of an hour, 0 sharks checked out the control board,
Fair.
0 checked out the slow blood pumping board, and exactly 0 sharks checked out the fast.
Interesting.
So this was by no means a perfect experiment, but I think it's safe to qualitatively say that if no sharks came to check out 15 drops of human blood a minute in the middle of shark-infested waters, you're probably going to be okay with a small scrape. I mean, there certainly won't be some kind of feeding frenzy with a single drop of blood from all sharks within a mile.
Pixar sits
Now
on
that I
a
had some
throne of
first-hand
lies.
data to put my mind at ease, I was willing to try diving with the sharks without a cage, but I had one final experiment. I had a theory that if we secured a 360
Okay, so just think about this. We're going to get into this part real quick, but just think about this. Like, think about all the people that go to the ocean. Like, this makes sense because I'm sure there's, every day in the summer, there are millions and millions, if not almost a billion people that go to the water in the world. And, you know, at some point, someone's got to be bleeding. So, like, rarely do you hear of someone bleeding and then, like, a shark appears out of nowhere. There are shark attacks, obviously, but, you know, very, very interesting that he tested with human blood, because it kind of makes sense when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, let's finish this video up and then talk about it.
Camera to the front of a hand spear and then shot it near some sharks, we could create the world's first really cool Matrix-like underwater bullet
that'd be
time
sweet.
effect. So I suited up.
That's so freaking awesome. I want to be there. I love that. That is so
Got him
awesome.
in like a feeding frenzy.
I wish I could
There's
be
like
there.
6 of them all
Will they
around
invite me
us.
next time? Probably
I
not.
lived. I mean, this is shaping up to be a great day.
What I'll take home from this shoot is just more evidence of the amazing animal that sharks are.
I love
but
sharks.
Also the ability to point people in a specific direction to say, hey, your thoughts about them are a little overblown.
This experience definitely changed my perception on sharks. I would say I respect them more after seeing their raw power up close, but at the same time, there's less of that fear that comes from ignorance. On top of all that, I didn't die.
Okay, so that was actually a really cool video to watch, because, you know, it proved things that had been taught, you know, to people since forever, you know, and it, you know, like he said, it wasn't the most perfect experiment. And so I always question, like, could he have tested with a bull shark? Would it have been different with a bull shark versus a great white versus a mako versus a tiger shark? I know there were tiger sharks in this experiment, but you know, it's always questioning, like, you know, these types of sharks and how these sharks react. And you know, it was interesting to watch because it was very cool. It was very, very blue water. Like, holy crap, I love blue water, but that was like insanely blue. But anyway, that was a very cool video, and I'm very happy that he did that. And you know, Shark Week is right now. It's going on right now. So if you're not tuning into that, make sure you go to the Discovery Channel and watch Shark Week. It's awesome. And if you don't know much about sharks, just realize that yes, there are a lot of scary stories about them, and yes, there are people that get bitten by sharks, but in the grand scheme of things, the likelihood of you getting bitten by a shark, you're more likely to get struck by lightning. So sharks are actually around for a purpose, and that is to control the environment in the ocean. And I actually read a story written by Peter Benchley, who wrote Jaws, which is, if you don't know what Jaws is, it's a horror movie about a shark. It's like the classic horror movie about a shark. But later on in life, he kind of sat down and said, oh, crap, like, I kind of painted them in a bad picture, and I feel bad about that. And so he wrote a story, he wrote another book, and it talked about sharks, but he wrote a story within that book, and it talked about how if all the sharks in the world disappeared, how the seal population started, you know, accumulating and getting bigger, and how it started moving inland and causing destruction, and people weren't able to control the seals. And so with sharks, they're able to control it because the sharks take care of that. And or there was dead composing fish in the water, and the sharks take care of that. Hammerheads are known to clean up dead carcasses of fish and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, very interesting video, and I enjoyed the video a lot, and he had a lot of very good information to add in there, and I think I learned a lot more about sharks, my favorite animal in the entire world. But yeah, check out down below. I'm gonna hopefully find some links to post to if you want to go support sharks, because you know, every day they're getting hunted and killed and eaten. And we need to stop that. So check out that link down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe and notification bell if you enjoyed it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ooh, excuse my language. Peace.